Hey guys, Vern here. I am today at a cemetery. And why am I here at a cemetery? Because I thought it'd be a little bit interesting for you guys to see the differences between what it's like here in the Philippines and what it's like in your country. So let's check it out.
Hey, Vern.
Now here in the Philippines, most often the people are placed above ground. Now why that is, I'm still not quite too sure. So most people will be put in these crypts. And if they don't have a plaque yet, most often their name will be just written into the concrete. And then once they have their plaque, they'll put the plaque on there. So in some places they have many crypts and they're stacked upon each other. These are 4 deep. The top ones are empty. So as you can imagine, they can get a lot of people in one spot, where here they have 4 people occupying the plot that would occupy just one person back home. Now what really caught my eye coming here was that these guys are building these crypts here today using the concrete blocks, sand and mortar. Here comes the funeral procession now. I don't know where their plot is. Oh, like it sits right here. Interesting. So looks like we came right as a funeral procession's coming. All right, so these are the crypts that these guys are building right now. It's one of the crypt workers. So I see the inside here, and they're building the inside. So how many high? 4? 4? 4 high? Okay, Paul. So this is a pretty good sized cemetery. This is just part that you can see. And it looks like they're under construction. They tore out a lot of these graves in this center part of the section, and now they're gonna fill it with these crypts. I've never seen a Filipino funeral, so it's kind of interesting. So who passed away here? Who? Oh, you're here for somebody here. Oh, okay. So it looks like they anointed the space with some candles where they put the person inside. That's a good life if you live here in the Philippines to be 74. That's a good age. That's a long life. How many days to build one of these crypts? How many days?
1 week.
1 week. Now, I was here when this was graves and they took all the bodies out Where do they put the bodies? This was graves they dig up, right?
There's chamber.
Oh, a chamber. They put all the bones in one big chamber? Ah, okay. Ah, I see. So
5 years.
only
5 years. Get these bones back to chamber.
really? So they only get to use these for 5 years?
5 years.
And then the rent is done and then they all go into one chamber. Wow. So then to find your loved one, you have to go to the chamber unless you own your own crypt, right?
Yeah.
Ah, is the crypt very expensive to have your own? It is? Okay. Wow, I did not know. Now, some people bury in the ground. Is that something that they do still or not so much?
That's
Not so much? Okay. Because when I came here before, there were some graves still in the ground. Were those old graves? Very old? Okay. How many guys will it take to build this?
8
8 men.
men.
Ah. So have you done this your whole life, built these chambers? Ah. And how do you feel about working around a graveyard? Is it kind of strange for you or no problem? No problem? So back in my country, people don't like to go to the cemetery. They don't visit the cemetery unless they miss their loved one. They don't have parties at the cemetery. The cemetery is usually far outside the town because people don't want to think about death. It's very different. They don't celebrate death. Here, people think of death a little bit differently. I think it's more healthy. They realize it's natural. It's something that happens. So you guys sell the candles?
Okay.
So how much are the candles?
2 piso.
2 peso each candle?
Oh,
Ah. And
1 piso.
how many candles does one person normally use? Just one or more?
It's up to the person if how much, or maybe 10 or 5.
Oh wow, so they buy a lot of candles per thing. So what does each candle signify? What does it mean for a candle?
To let their souls going to heaven.
Ah. So if you burn a couple more candles, it
More lights.
okay. Oh,
Padaplin.
so I noticed before they dig up the cemetery and they pull the bodies out.
Yes, they will put it in the bone chamber because these cubicles here is only for, it's allowed for 5 years only.
Oh.
Then they have to remove the bodies, the bones, and if you, the owner of that cadaver there, you will not allow them, you have to pay again. And if you don't want, you will get it out and put it in the bone chamber.
All right, so now we're at a private cemetery. And here's the difference between the costs. At a public cemetery, you can be put into the crypt for about 5,000 Filipino pesos, 5,000 to 6,000. And after about 5 years, your bones will be pulled out and put into a crypt. Where in this public cemetery, for about 60,000 pesos, it'll cover a lifetime worth of cost and maintenance, and people will clean the cemetery up periodically. So there's maintenance, and most of the people in this cemetery are below ground versus being above ground, unless maybe they're in some type of an urn. So I believe we're appointed once to die, and I believe we're also a living soul, and once that soul is not on this earth, it's present with the Lord. Now, you are very valuable as a soul, and there would be no value to have your soul sitting in the ground languishing away. That wouldn't make any sense. If your value is in your being, then your being is going to survive. So from this life the life after is a seamless change. It's like that. It's that quick. Once you pop out of your body, you're in your spirit body. There is no languishing around or waiting. It's just going to be a really quick deal. And there was a time when I was out of my body for a few seconds, floating up in the room. So I've been in that state. I know what that's like. And it's complete peacefulness. There's no way to describe how quiet that is. So let's explore some of the differences at this cemetery as we progress to some of the grave sites. So just looking at these are really, really premium grave sites. They got their own little stairs, even got their own lights. That's pretty amazing. Not everyone has the lights, but a lot of them do. Well, that one's got some little trucks on it. Let's look at that. That's cute. Oh, only 3 years old. That's sad. Their own little cactus thing going on here. That's kind of nice. So these are all the newer graves here. And they've each got their own little lights set up. They have little shrubs, little mini shrubs. Really amazing. Oh, they got a little bicycle there. I gotta look at that. I wonder if some poor little kid died. Wouldn't that be tragic? Oh, let's look. Oh, 6 years old. Oh, how sad. Oh, that doesn't touch your heart, nothing will. Wow. So the thing with life is we have to look at death as a natural progression. We're not born to be here forever. It's not what the purpose of this life was. This life is just our school. So when I was in grade 6, I had a young classmate tell me that her grandma had died and crossed over and came back to life. And she has said that this life is just a test. And I never forgot about that. I was grade 6. And I've always looked for the answers of what this life is all about. And to me, after reading about 1,000 near-death experiences, it is just that. It's our classroom. This life is a test. We're a living, eternal soul here for a classroom experience. That's all this is. We have a purpose in some ways to glorify God Almighty. And then after that, then we go back to our real home, because this is not our real home. This is just a dirty old bus stop. And if we knew how amazing it was on the other side, we probably wouldn't want to be here. But we're here for a reason worth dying for. So we have to go through this life, whatever that is. So I'm sitting here on some chairs just ahead of a freshly dug crypt that they're building. Nobody's in it yet. Nobody's here. And it's somebody's future. It's all of our futures, actually. So how do we come to terms with that? We have to realize that we're all headed for the exit. No matter who we are, we never know what our time is. But we have to realize that this is not the end. It's actually the beginning of our eternal life forever together with everybody. And if we can celebrate that, then death is not so scary. Where is thy sting, O death? And the more we embrace that, I think the more we can learn to really begin to live before this body is called home. So when I was out of my body, floating up in the corner of the ceiling, it seemed like the entire me was up there. Whatever was down below on the couch, I didn't have any connection to it. I didn't feel like it was ever a part of me. It just felt like nothingness. It felt like a piece of garbage on the ground. I could have cared less. It wasn't anything I was at all remotely even interested or attracted to. So you will be all of yourself once you're out of your body. There is no need to have to really be back in your body. There will probably be a time where you think about your loved ones, but you'll be comforted knowing that they'll be okay. Their time will come and you will see them again. This is just our classroom, and we have to learn the lessons that we learn. We can't learn somebody else's lessons. We're here to learn our own lessons. And I think the more that we understand the passing of this life, just like we celebrate the birth, I think it would be a lot easier. I think the greatest fear is the fear of the unknown, what we don't understand, what we don't know. And a lot of times I'll read a lot of near-death experiences, and I've read at least 1,000 of them. There's a place called NDERF.org, and it talks about people that have passed on and came back and then told their stories. And what they say is that once you die, it's seamless. You're out of your body in your spirit immediately. It's almost just like from one thing to the other, just boom, boom, just that fast. And a lot of times they'll say they just feel complete peace before they start to move up to the next dimension. And they feel like somebody's guiding them someplace and they need to go somewhere. And sometimes when they get to that next destination, they'll think about their loved ones and have some memories there, but they're often shown what it will be like for that person down on earth, and they're comforted knowing that they will see them again. It's just temporary. And there is no time. There's no time in heaven. There's only time for us here. And so to them, it will seem like a blink of an eye. By the time they miss us, but to the time they see us again, it will be like no time has passed at all. But here it seems like forever. So we need to be comforted knowing that for them, they will see us again shortly. I had a pastor that I really loved to listen to, Pastor Ron Mel, and one thing that he always said is just hope that you can finish strong with this life. And that's the greatest thing that you could do, is to finish strong.